We're joined in the election campaign with just over a week to go until voting concludes on the 26th of November in the electorate of Mildura. Paul Matheson is the Liberal candidate. Paul, how are you going today?
Very good, thank you. Sun's shining and we've been busy at pre-poll in Mildura.
Yeah, it's good to see the sun out for a little while. Might be different over the weekend. But when it comes to campaigning, just wrap up for us, first of all, for those around the sort of Sea Lake, Ouyen area, what have you pledged from the Liberal Party for voters in that area?
Well, obviously, most you would have heard about it, the coalition pledges. So one of them was $2 million towards the Ouyen Lake to assist them with further development and upgrades, camping, make it more user-friendly, possibly caravan parks. So $2 million, that's a lot of money to such a worthy cause. The volunteers have done a wonderful job down there to actually develop the lake and get it where it is. Some community members at Sea Lake reached out to me also. So whilst it's not a monetary value, but I said that if I'm elected, I'll work with the traditional owners and the Sea Lake Off-Road Club to work out what the cultural heritage requirements are and do that study with the aim of returning the Mallee Rally.
Yeah, this is one we talked about with Ali Cupper recently. She claims people being accusing her of cancelling the Mallee Rally. I mean, what's your view on how the race could be run? It seems that Aboriginal heritage, there's a view that it shouldn't continue in its current race format around the lake and it needs to only go around part of the lake or not at all.
I think we've got to sit down and work it out. Surely we've come to some reasonable solution. The first thing is around the cost of the feasibility study, I think. The cultural study was the issue. But surely that's for something that's such big for the motorsport community and the Sea Lake community. Surely we can sit down with traditional owners and work something out. It's my understanding it has been indefinitely postponed, and I just think they've been abandoned by the Andrews Labor government, and we can't keep on blaming everyone else. But the reality is no one's talking to them, and it seems to come to a stalemate.
It seems to be a common refrain across the electorate during this campaign that what you've just said, abandoned by the Andrews Labor government, when it comes to something like the Murray Basin Rail Project, they just haven't got on with that. We've heard a lot from Ouyen Inc. about this one. Where is the Liberal Party pledging in terms of what might happen in terms of regional rail and freight handling on the roads or rail?
Well, for starters, we need to fix the freight rail network. No problems at all. We need to be able to get this produce down to ports and down to the cities where we need it most. We've got to get the trucks off the road, and the only way we can do that is by fixing this freight rail network. And, we need to look at, we pledged to complete the project to its original scope. But in the interim, we'll win government, and then we'll have to sit down and do the business case and see what's been stuffed up and what we can fix and how much it's going to cost and prioritise it and get it back on track to benefit our farming communities and our regional communities. So this is a pretty big ticket. We can't keep, again, we're blaming everyone else. We're blaming not enough money allocated, but no one's talking about how much money is getting wasted, especially in Metro Melbourne.
Yeah, that's the thing that we seem to pick up from locals is that there doesn't seem to be a price tag of any concern when it comes to, say, the suburban rail loop. That can happily cost hundreds of billions of dollars, but the Victorian government's sort of sneering at how much it might cost to complete Murray Basin Rail.
It's absolutely ridiculous, isn't it? And that's why one of our commitments is to make sure that 25% of the infrastructure spend and build occurs in regional Victoria. And that's where I'm pushing it very big for our electorate, being as big as it is, that goes beyond your Ballarat and Bendigos. Like, yeah, that's regional, but come on, we're country, so we need a decent piece of the pie, to be honest.
Now, Paul, for those not familiar with you, you do have a strong background in Sunraysia footy and netball. What have the opposition been pledging regarding sporting facilities in the region during this campaign?
Well, locally, there's actually a couple, to be honest. There was one up at, we pledged to work with the Redcliffe Football Netball Club, so just outside of Mildura, building, upgrading their change rooms. There's also some work being done around Robinvale, where a big project up there, community project at the footy ground and also on the foreshore and a skate park. But probably more for the listeners for Flow is we actually pledged some money to Donald Recreation Reserve to work with cricket and hockey and build some female-specific facilities down there for them. So, that's a pretty big ticket item for down there. They want to make it a hub of sport, and they do such a great job. We can bring in teams and whether it's female cricket or female footy, hockey, from outside of Donald. So it's just not about Donald. It can be Wycheproof or Charlton. So that's a pretty big thing for down there. Also, we've pledged some money, and it's not sport, but it's pretty important to the Charlton Driving School too. Like Chartsec, they do such a wonderful job, and they need some new classrooms. So we've pledged some money for that as well. So they teach road safety to kids throughout Victoria. It's so popular and really important. You know, the kids learn how to drive, and it's a massive boost for that local economy as well.
Yeah, speaking of driving, you're out on the roads a lot during the campaign. Just what needs to be done? I know that Ali Cupper keeps talking about this rate gate scenario of trying to get more money to local councils to fix the roads. What sort of changes or funding do we need so that councils don't just end up with repairs from a federal or state resource to repair the road, but actually upgrade it to make it more flood-proof, amongst other things?
Oh, well, there's how long's a piece of string, to be honest. But the first thing was we pledged $10 billion for roads over 10 years. So that's $1 billion a year compared to the Labor government pledging $300 million. So that's pretty significant. And really important considering the amount of water we had in the floods. You can just see how much of a disgrace regional roads are, and why should we have to put up with it where they don't Metro Melbourne. So there's a lot of work to be done there, and we do need to sit down with local government, maybe do a local government review, and definitely make these rates fairer across country Victoria, especially our farmers.
All right, Paul, well, stay safe on the roads, and all the best with your pre-polling activity at Mildura, and we'll hopefully catch you again before polling day on the 26th of November. Thanks for joining us again on Flow.
No, I appreciate it, and if anyone sees me out and about down south, I'll stop and say good day.